If you want to get a heavily discounted game every 24 hours and the ability to earn free games with purchases, head on over to chrono.gg/BigFry. So Epic Games, the developer behind Fortnite, you guys obviously know Fortnite, they're taking some of that revenue and they're starting the Epic Games Store. It's going to be an online distribution platform that's going to rival Steam, which is something that we talk about a lot with platforms like GOG or even guys like Ubisoft's Uplay, EA's Origin. We haven't really seen somebody actively take on Steam backed by, I mean, let's be real, Fortnite and Epic Games dollars. This announcement is coming off the heels. Last week, Valve dropped an update basically saying that they're adjusting the revenue share system for their developers. Before, if you were a developer, you had to pay 30% of your revenue to Steam right off the bat. The money you make, 30% instantly goes to Steam and you get 70% of your revenue. And most developers were able to chalk that up to Steam being the largest platform with the largest user base. And up until today, that is still true. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But on top of it, if you were using an engine like Unreal Engine, you were having to pay an extra 5% over, I believe it's the first $1,000 that you make to Epic Games. So Epic Games was able to dip into all of these developers who were developing games on Unreal Engine for their 5%. So if you were a developer, just to break this down, if you were a developer using Unreal Engine, putting your game on Steam, you instantaneously were losing 35% of your revenue. So Valve came out last week and they said basically if a game earns over $10 million in revenue, once it hits that $10 million threshold, they're going to see a 75-25 split after reaching that milestone. So basically it moves from 70-30 to 75-25. For games that earn over $50 million, you get to keep 80% of your earnings while Valve takes 20%. And this actually drew a lot of backlash from a lot of developers because a lot of guys aren't going to make $10 million plus. And so what they looked at this tiered system, it's something that kind of rewards the rich get richer type thing. Games like PUBG that have overnight phenomenal success, those guys are going to be seeing more money, while the indie developers who are out here just trying to grind and get their take, they're actually essentially with this tiered system being punished. When this was announced, I just kind of chalked it up to Valve starting to feel the heat from guys like Ubisoft and EA and more recently even Bethesda coming out with their own launchers to put their own games on, their own deals, their own sales. And they're kind of taking that PC marketplace that was the conglomerate of Steam, and they're kind of breaking away a little bit. Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, even Battle.net. You guys saw the latest Call of Duty wasn't on Steam, it was only on Battle.net. So I chalked this up to them just starting to feel the heat. Maybe they should, you know, give these guys some leeway, some more profit. I don't see how a game making 50 million should still pay 20% to Valve. You're gonna see shit in the AAA market like a Call of Duty. I could see Call of Duty making 50 million, but why should they pay 20% to Valve when they have built their player base up for the last 15 years? So the Valve change on Steam was a little bit weird to me, but to me it was just them kind of grasping at straws. And then we get the Epic Games announcement, and this is super interesting. This is going to create a lot of competition in the PC marketplace potentially. So what Epic Games is doing is offering an 88-12 split to the developers compared to a 70-30. So basically, Epic Games is taking 12%. You get to upload your game, you get to put it onto their store, and you get to keep 88% of the revenue, which is a far cry from the 70-30 split. And on top of that, if you're using Unreal Engine 4 and then publishing your game through Epic, Epic will waive that 5% fee that developers had to pay for before. I don't believe they're waiving the fee for Unity. Obviously, that makes sense. But if you're making Unreal Engine 4, that 5% that you originally had to pay, if you publish it on the Epic Games Store, you don't have to pay it, which is an insane amount of revenue for these indie developers coming out. Obviously, we see so many games being published to Steam all the time. This is a pretty big, significant change in terms of the revenue structure. but I want to talk about the actual implications of this on the PC marketplace. The biggest draw for publishing a game on Steam is the fact that the player base is there. Everybody who plays PC games has a Steam account. I'm going to say if it's not 99.9%, it's 100%. So the ability to get your game seen by a larger audience is a pretty enticing offer that Valve is giving these indie developers. But what I've been talking about over the last few years is the fact that indie devs can throw a game out, and there's hundreds of games getting published every single day to the store. So you're getting flooded by a whole bunch of shit, just asset flip shovelware. And this is part of the reason why I did so many early access videos in the past of just roasting people who are taking up the space for developers who actually deserve to be there. That's one of my main driving points of this channel. So that incentive to put your game on the Steam platform is actually going away for a lot of developers. But the question is can Epic Games grab a large enough audience to download the launcher and actually use the platform to warrant developers wanting to put their titles on the Epic Games launcher? How are we going to see cross-platform play? Are we going to see the games on the Epic Store be compatible with Steam? I remember when Modern Warfare Remastered came out, and if you bought that shit on the Windows Store or if you bought it on Steam, those two player bases couldn't play together, and it caused a lot of issues. The 6 people that bought it on the Windows Store couldn't play with anybody else online. So I want to see how they're going to get that done. So the question is how can Epic Games draw an audience? And they've kind of laid out plans for this. They're actually going to be going into more detail at the Game Awards tomorrow. If you guys are watching this on the day that it uploads, tomorrow is the Game Awards. I'm going to be co-streaming it, so if you guys want to come through and watch it, it's going to be hilarious, it's going to be fun, and we get to learn more about this specific topic. One way Epic is going to bring people to their store is they're going to be giving them free stuff. So the store is going to feature one free game every fortnight throughout 2019, funded by Epic, which is pretty fucking cool. If I know anything about gamers today, free games are their shit. So people are going to instantly download it just because there might be a solid free title. Because I don't think it's going to cost any money to get an account there. You just go, download the launcher, get onto the store page, and download your free games, which is, I mean, that's going to get people already. They're also doing a thing which is kind of in my realm of YouTube and Twitch, and it's called Support a Creator. So they say it's going to be key in helping developers reach gamers. Content creators such as YouTube video makers, Twitch streamers, cosplayers, community builders, and bloggers have become key influencers in gaming. So they say previously most creators were not compensated by game developers for their work and instead had to rely on donations. In my case, it's a mixture of donations, Twitch subscribers, and ad revenue from YouTube, and also if people want to join the membership program that YouTube has. So it's basically all crowdfunded the way that I can get my support. The biggest thing for me is the ad revenue, because it feels weird still asking people for money. That just, it's still weird to me. So the ad revenue is something that I always rely on. And I myself have done a couple sponsored videos in the past from NWI, as well as my recent one with Black Desert. So this is really interesting to me. I want to see how they're going to handle this. But what they say is by matchmaking creators with developers, the Epic Games Store is going to make it easier for players to discover games and rewards content creators for their efforts. I don't believe they have broken down how the pay structure is going to be. I imagine it's going to be something like a key mailer. If you guys don't know what key mailer is, or there's another website called Terminals. If you are a YouTuber, you basically take your account, you connect to their website, and then developers go on there and they say, okay, I want to look for people who play FPS and multiplayer and they have 50,000 subscribers or more, and they send those creators keys. This is kind of making it sound like they're actually going to be paying creators to play and advertise their games, but that's going to be a separate video that I really want to talk about with you guys, because I want to see the implications of people jumping into this market, new to YouTube, making content and getting paid through the Epic Games Store. I want to see how all of those puzzle pieces come to make a bigger picture. And as far as the supposed launch titles or what you're going to see on the store, they're handpicking the games at the moment. And what I'm going to urge Epic right off the bat, because I have been a huge proponent for Steam's lack of QA, don't just let anybody go on your fucking store, because you're going to end up the exact same as Valve and Steam, where there's just so much toxic shit on your platform that you have to really just wade through the water to find a game that actually looks good. And citing apart from a PC Gamer article, I'm going to have that link below, they say eventually once the doors are open, there is going to be an approval process based on mostly of the technical side of things. We don't plan to curate based on developers' creative or artistic expression. Fuck yes. We don't get to see any broken titles on the platform. There might be games that I'm just not interested in, or you're not interested in. There might be games in a genre that I've never even touched before. There might be games that have an art style that I don't fuck with, and that's awesome. But as long as you know all of the games work and all of the games are built properly, and granted, we haven't heard anything about an early access plan on this platform, we might be looking at the future of PC gaming, potentially. Who knows? Their biggest hurdle right now is building the player base to rival Steam. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but if I'm being totally honest, I think now is the time that Valve starts to feel the pressure, and I'm actively rooting for Epic Games to do it. And I am going to I actually think the launcher is going to remain the same. I have the Epic Games launcher already. I am going to be using this platform, and I am actively encouraging my user base to look past all of the other launchers that we have had, the Uplay, the Origin, the Bethesda launcher, all of that stuff, and look at this as an alternative to Steam, where a whole bunch of different games can go on there, and it's not just separated because Battle.net wanted to keep exclusivity to a AAA title, or because EA wanted to keep exclusivity to a AAA title. This is a new marketplace for so many different indie developers to get on, make more money, and potentially get their game seen by so many more people. I actually think Epic Games is on the cusp of the new wave of how people see video games, and this is fucking amazing to me. And it's funny, on the cusp of that announcement, I'm actually just reading now on PC Gamer, there was a bug that Steam actually pushed into their source code at the beginning of October that actively affected tags being shown for certain searches, that actively deterred and didn't show certain indie games for people who were searching for titles in that genre. I'm going to quote it here on PC Gamer. Again, I'm going to have a link to this article as well. On October 5th, we deployed some code to Steam that changed the defaults for our search queries to factor in sales and wishlist activity more than before. This change was meant to fix an issue where customers would search for a game, but that game would be much lower in the search results than other less relevant games. But this change had unintended side effects of de-boosting tags in the more like this section on a game's store page. What that meant was that instead of seeing products similar to the game, you saw games that shared just one tag in common, but were effectively the most popular games on Steam. Valve taking a page straight out of YouTube's playbook, fucking with algorithms and search results, actually allowed some of these indie developers to drop in overall impressions, and it actually hurt sales, potential sales for some of these indie devs. So Valve really isn't on a hot streak at this point. They're taking a fucking shit kicking in the media right now, and I gotta say, this is a pretty shitty thing to do to indie developers that you're actively trying to keep, or at least appearing like you're trying to keep on your platform. Let me know what you guys think about Epic Games. Is this something that you guys are going to jump onto? Are you going to download another fucking launcher for your PC? And if you guys want, just let me know what you guys think of the video down below. Give me your thoughts. And if you guys want to come through and watch the Game Awards, like I said in my video, I am going to be streaming it tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Come through. go to the Twitch channel. We're gonna be talking about pretty much everything that they talk about and announce there, and we get to do it as a community. We do this every year, and it's usually a pretty fun time. The link to my Twitch channel is gonna be down below, so just click that, go follow, and be over there. Thank you guys for watching. My name is BigFry. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. I appreciate it. All the support. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.